Welcome to video number 2. Ooh, this is a good one because apparently Harry's been given warnings and he is not listening. This isn't going to turn out well. So just buckle up. Let's go. Articles are coming out, you guys, saying that Harry is going to face consequences if he continues to publicly comment on the royal family. He continues to air his family's dirty laundry. He keeps talking about his brother. He keeps attacking his father. And it's being reported that Charles went straight to Harry and said, stop it. And that if Harry continues to go against the wishes, that very well may be the last straw for King Charles and the rest of the royals, because basically everybody knows that when the king asks you to do something, there's going to be consequences if you don't obey. People are saying online that the reason Harry is doing this is to try to get his family's attention, but it's having the opposite effect because we know that Harry's complained about the treatment he's gotten from his family, and he's just got one aim basically, and that's to get an apology and to have his father and brother make amends. The problem is they're not making amends because they haven't done anything wrong. Harry can't see that the complaining in private might be a little better than the complaining in public, and that the complaining in public just makes things worse. Let me give you a good example. This is what Harry said in the Me You Can't See.
I like to think that we were able to speak truth in the most compassionate way possible, therefore leaving an opening for reconciliation and healing.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This man actually thought that ripping his family one on the Oprah show and in the Me You Can't See was done compassionately and would leave an opening for reconciliation and healing. So let's take a look at some of the things he's been saying about his dad. Now, we know that after the Oprah show, Charles and Queen Elizabeth had different plans on how to respond. The king wanted to rebuke every claim made by Meghan and Harry, but of course Queen Elizabeth did the whole recollections may vary thing. So let's take a look at a lot of the complaints that Harry has made against his father. Now, when Harry's parents separated, Harry complained in a documentary called Diana, Our Mother, Her Life and Legacy, that after his parents split, that they never saw their mother enough, or they never saw their father enough. Now, when it came to the wedding, Charles walked Meghan down the aisle after Thomas Markle had his heart attacks, and when they asked him, he said, of course, I'll do whatever Meghan needs. I'm there to support you. Harry revealed this in the Prince, Son, and Heir documentary, and he said that, his father, it was a very heartwarming gesture. It's the things he does behind the scenes that people don't know about. But then, in the next breath, Harry claimed that his father and the royal family didn't do enough to support Meghan. Then, of course, the family slamming started. Harry claimed that Charles stopped taking his phone calls. After all, everything they said was being repeated, so I can totally see why Charles stopped taking his calls. He also complained his father cut him off. Now remember, this is a 30-something-year-old multimillionaire who said his daddy won't give him any money, but we found out later on his father had given him a multi-million lump sum payment right before the interview. Then, of course, he started complaining that Charles and William were trapped in a system. Then, of course, Harry said that he wanted to raise his children differently. He wanted to make sure that his child wasn't raised the same way that Charles raised them. Then Harry accused Charles of not protecting him and William in the Me You Can't See. I mean, it just goes on and on. Then, of course, during the Netflix series, Harry talks about the meeting, the Sandringham Agreement. And it was terrifying, he said, to have my brother scream at me and have my father say things that simply weren't true. And my grandmother just sat there and took it all in. Now, of course, before The Spare came out, Harry sat down for multiple interviews. I want a family, not an institution, and they've shown no willingness to reconcile. I want my father back. I want my brother back. It never needed to be this way. The linking and the planting, they feel as though it's better to keep me somehow as villains. That's because you are the villains. Let me tell you something. He was upset because he said his family breached his privacy. And then in that book, Spare, he breached his family's privacy in every way known to man. Well, when Harry returned for his grandfather's funeral, he literally begged for reconciliation. With the same victim mentality he always uses, he says, I tried to explain my side of things. I wasn't at my best for starters. I was nervous, fighting to keep my emotions in check while striving to be succinct and precise. Right. Of course, while promoting Spare, Harry was asked if he would go to his father's coronation, and he said, there's a lot that can happen, but the door's always open, the ball is in their court, there's a lot to be discussed. There was no discussion, but when the invitation came, of course he went. What was he going to do, not show up? He needed the immediate attention. He also talked in the Spare that his father enjoyed telling stories alleging that he was really not Harry's father. Harry wrote, he'd laugh and laugh like it was an unfunny joke given the rumor circulating that my actual father was Major James Hewitt. But yet Harry, who said he wanted to raise his children differently and protect them, has literally done the same thing to his kids with the unsigned birth certificates and the secret births and the conflicting stories. People want to know who are really Archie and Lily's parents. We also know from the Spare that he asked his father not to marry Camilla. And he says now, I hope to have a relationship with my father again, even though we haven't spoken in some time. So all of these, these puff pieces about how they're talking, they are not speaking, okay? He says, I really look forward to having that family element back and having a relationship with my brother and with my father and other members of my family. It's never going to happen because the things that he wrote, the things that he said are going to stand for all time. 50 years from now, if that man is still alive, people are going to be talking about the things that he wrote in that book. This man, we already know he released private text messages between Catherine and Meghan. We know that he let the whole world know that William is circumcised. He lost Frogmore Cottage for slamming Camilla. He has lost everything, and yet he cannot see that he's responsible for what's going on. So at this point, I think he gets what he deserves. Truth of the matter is, Harry is a spoiled man, baby, who's never been told no, I think, in his life. The palace covered up for him for quite some time. Now he's out from under the umbrella of the palace, and everybody can really see what a jerk he is. He's got severe mental issues. It's obvious from the constant nose wiping. We know now about the drug issues. I don't know what else to say about him. He doesn't see he did anything wrong, and that is his biggest problem. I think he's over-therapied myself. All right, you guys. You know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe button. Go down into the description box where you'll find the link to video number 3. Click that link and follow me on over. Let's go.